Hey, what's up everybody? This is Will, and on this video, I just want to go over the process that I go through to record my character One-Eyed Francis for the Fanboy Wasted Podcast. If you're unfamiliar with that, it's just an intro that we do. He's our quote-unquote bartender, and it's this character that I made up. Basically what I do is at the end of us recording each episode, like the next day or so, I'll sit down and start editing it. Structurally wise. While I'm doing that, I will kind of make a bullet point list of basically what the hell we're going to be talking about. What's all the insanity, what's all the craziness that we're getting into. The inspiration behind One-Eyed Francis, who he is. We played D&D for a couple years. A lot of our adventures ended up with us trying to find a tavern or whatever. We would always get into some kind of like squabble with a bartender or whatever. And we always thought that was kind of funny. And I would do a lot of voices and stuff. We thought like, so we're Fanboy Wasted. It's all about, Dane's a bartender, Josh is a bartender. Let's make our introduction guy, a guy who's going to kind of announce this stuff, be a bartender. The first night that we sat down and recorded, I was very drunk. So like my voice was already really scratchy and everything. Trying to come up with how exactly I was going to, what the lines were going to say, thinking of all that stuff drunk. And it was all improv. Most of how I do One-Eyed Francis is entirely improv, which is really fun. Dane turns on GarageBand, and he decided to go with Megaphone for whatever reason. He's like, this is going to sound really fun. Kind of adds more of that grittiness and just sounds really shitty. That's kind of the way we establish this character and how we record him and the process that goes into it. So we've carried that over pretty much ever since. All that being said, all that background, I'm going to record the One-Eyed Francis intro for episode 9 of Fanboy Wasted with David Page as the guest host. So I now have the megaphone effect going on in GarageBand right now. Here we go. All right, I gotta warm up a little bit, get into the voice. Gotta start out sometimes. Gotta really get into it. Drink a bit of a drink here. Alright. Alright. There we are. I think we're getting there pretty nice and well. Alright, so here we go. Well, hello again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 9 of Fanboy Wasted. I, as always, am your bartender, One-Eyed Francis, and on this episode, we have a mystery host. A mystery guest host, rather, but he's not that big of a mystery. Spoiler alert, it's David Page. Good friend of ours, good friend. Then from there, we get into drunk stories, as always, but this time about drunk stories at house parties. Then from there, we move on to E3. And Bethesda, I guess they had themselves a creators club, and we talk about that new God of War, and of course there's Spider-Man, many other things. Then this time, instead of doing a big queue, we trade up for the big trigger. Yes, it's very new, very interesting, very fun. And then at the end of the episode, everyone's super wasted, super drunk, and it gets a little socio-political. If you're not in for that kind of thing, or whatever, fuck you, you're gonna have to listen to it anyway. All this and more on Fanboy Wasted. And don't forget, as always, pay your bloody tab and tip your frickin' bartender. Enjoy. Alright, so that was the first take. Again, all kind of ad-libbed. It's always a bit longer at the beginning, so I'm gonna have to trim that down. I remember kind of what I just said there. I'm like, all right, let's make this a bit shorter, a bit more to the point. Here is take 2. Well, hello again, ladies and gentlemen. This is your bartender, One-Eyed Francis, and see, that happens sometimes. Anyway, take 3. On this episode, we have guest host fucking shit. Take 4. I'm your bartender, One-Eyed Francis, and on this episode we have guest host, well, mystery host, but spoiler alert, it's David Page. Yes, good friend of ours, beautiful photographer. We welcome him on the show. I hope you enjoy him as much as we do. Anyway, Fuck. See, a little bit too wordy, a little bit too much. So with the whole improv thing, I need to worry about, like, okay, I'm just going to say, we have mystery guest David Page, which, since I just said his name, not that big of a fucking mystery. That's probably how I'll say that. Then we get into drunk stories about house parties, talk about E3, the Creator Club, God of War, Spider-Man, and many others. Will's Big Loudmouth Eats Rangoon. We do a big trigger instead of the big Q, and it ends with everyone getting really drunk and talking socio-political. That's about it right there. That sounds good. Take 5. From there we get into drunk stories about house parties, talk about our recap with E3 and the Bethesda Creators Club and God of War and Spider-Man and other shit like that. And then also Will's Big Loud Fucking Mouth Eats Rangoon on fuck. I had it. I almost had it. I'll just say fuck the Rangoon thing. Doesn't matter. So see, as I go along, I'm like, if it's something that's gonna make me hang up with it, I'll just eliminate it. Which, with me being kind of the creative mind, part of the creative process behind this, I can do that. Sometimes with reads, though, I'm gonna have to get beyond things like that. Something to work on. But with this, I'm gonna say fuck it. So, take 6. And then finally, at the end of the episode, everyone is properly drunk, and it gets very socio-political, which, whatever, fuck it, it's a good time. So, as always, cheers, tip your fucking bartender, and goddammit, I almost had a good one. That was fucking bad. So there, I got through the whole thing, but the end was kind of shit. So, last one, I promise. Take 7. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 9 of Fanboy Wasted. I'm your bartender, One-Eyed Francis, and on this episode we have mystery guest David Page, which I just said his name, so not that big of a mystery. Anyway, we start off talking about drunk stories from house parties, and we move on to E3 and talk about the Bethesda Creators Club, God of War, and of course that new Spider-Man game that everyone's talking about. And from there, we switch up this time. We don't talk about a big Q, we do a big trigger. What the hell is that? You'll have to listen to find out. Then from there, finally, everyone gets really drunk at that point, and it gets kind of socio-political. Yikes. Well, anyway, as always, cheers, bottoms up, and don't forget to pay your fucking bartender. Have fun. There we go. That's that. I'm going to switch off this megaphone to kind of finish up the rest of the video because it's really obnoxious. So yeah, really, that's it. That's the process that we go through to record the One-Eyed Francis intros for the Fanboy Wasted Podcast. There's not a lot of structure, and it's kind of chaotic, just like the podcast. And that's the way we like it. It's a lot of fun. It's a character that I enjoy doing. I have the full creative control over how he sounds, what's his temperament, who is this character. That's not being directed to me. So it's a really fun improv kind of character for me to do. That being said, I am very excited and really looking forward to opportunities of working with different constraints of, someone else directing me, different characters that I don't really have control over, that's not as loose. So that's going to be really fun and exciting. Well, hey, I hope you really enjoyed this, and if it's sparked your interest about the podcast and what that might be like, if you haven't checked it out yet, I'm going to have links to our SoundCloud and our iTunes in the description, as well as I think there's somewhere on my page that you can click that I have links. In addition to that, please subscribe to my channel and view all my other videos. They're a lot of fun. If you like this one, you're going to like all the other ones. Duh. Alright, that's it for this episode. But don't forget, everyone, I'm Will. And I do dubs, as well as character voices and voiceovers and other things like that.